Oh, hey, beautiful souls. This is Michelle with Upgrade in Progress. It's been a minute since I made a video. And the truth is right now, I I look like crap. I'm just coming out of a meditation. I had been thinking a while about doing a video on sort of my little Trump journey. And here recently, I was kind of wanted to see how it related to loyalty. So, just kind of the short story is I used to be up until this year, um, I always voted for the Democratic Party, and I'd said Trump getting elected in 16, I think, initiated my awakening because I hated the man. Dude, he was like, he was arrogant, he was misogynist, he was, everything about his presentation. Because, I'm a highly sensitive empath. I'm intuitive, and everything about his presentation just revolted me. So, long story short, I didn't really pay any attention. I'm not a political person. I'm quite politically inept. Um, I don't know anything about politics. I just kind of go on the feel of things, and he just never felt right. So this year, after he mentioned hydrochloroquine, and then watching the whole thing just get blown up, I kind of went down that rabbit hole because the censorship started. And then, long story short, some people in the high vibe community that I follow, Ascension Path, those of us that are kind of high, and not high energy as in energetic, but as in, we now sort of live heart centered. It's we'll have to look into Ascension, but that's another video. So anyway, when my community started talking about him and highlighting him, I was annoyed in a moment, and it was like, why are you guys talking about Trump? But I allowed the information because they seemed like credible, intelligent people. I had been watching videos, so that alone kind of taught me I needed to allow some information to be able to make a better decision. Long story short, I saw a whole lot of things that were not pretty. So I ended up really, kind of jumping on board and seeing what he's doing in many ways. And again, this isn't a Trump video. It's more of a life lesson video on, I think, how we're experiencing loyalty this year. Because I always want to tie what's happening to a bigger picture in my own life and in globally. At least this year, I have a very different lens on. So, long story short, I see Trump from a very, very different lens now, and I see that he's really, really doing really awesome things. What I thought about him, what others thought about him, some of it may be true. I'm not saying it's not true, but underneath, in the core of what he's doing, is a really, really good thing. So it was almost like it was flipped. The other guys always had the great presentation, but I've come to learn that what they were really doing was some really deep, dark up shit. So here Trump was the opposite. His presentation was ugly and dark and just no, but underneath, underneath he ended up, at least from what I feel and what resonates with me now and what I can sense, is that what's underneath is definitely in our interest, or more in our interest than the other party. But I'm not going down that rabbit hole. So as that relates to loyalty, I was just kind of the download today, and the reason I just sort of put the video on fresh out of meditation was because of how I could relate it to ascension and loyalty. Because I was like, wow, loyalty is coming up for review this year too, with a lot of us, all of us, I think, on some level. But, you know, like on the global level, I can say I was loyal to, I guess, the Democratic Party. And then it's on a even grand level. You know, it's celebrities, it's companies, it's it's everything. It's Disney, it's Netflix. It's the things that, you know, we're finding out that we followed, that we were quote unquote quote, you know, teams, you know, NFL teams, all of it. I mean, it's up to everybody to go, you know, what am I loyal to, and what's happening, what are they expressing now, or how is that being expressed? So we I think all, or most of us that are awakening and see, can see that some of those things that we are loyal to are not good. In the worst case scenarios, they're downright evil, downright evil. There are some sick mofos out there, and I never saw that. I'm telling you, it seems like, well, again, my community, the whole world is like, had been backwards. It was flipped. It was run by the dark. We're seeing that. We're seeing, like, you know, there was a, you've seen the cup where it says Mickey, and then in the reflection it says Wicked. I mean, wow, the symbolism and the pedophilia in Disney alone is coming to light. Like, wow, we've been deceived. Our loyalty to big things are now slapping us in the face. So we have to let go of some of those things that we were once loyal to. So that's kind of on the grand scale. And again, the grand scale is really a reflection of what's happening on the micro and the macro, as above, so below, as without, so within. You know, everything is like reflecting. So in our individual worlds, we might be experiencing loyalty issues with friends, with family, with even jobs. You know, I'm loyal to my job, but now I'm finding out that, damn, you know, they have to follow the rules too, but they're not in my favor. They're not. So loyalty can present itself in our lives in many different ways. And I think we have to be able to make the same discernment. I would say, as somebody who's really interested in wanting to help others kind of go through that transformation process, because I've been through it, I'm going through it, I think it's an ongoing process. We have the opportunity to help people see things from a very different lens, because we've already seen sort of the illusions that are taking place. And when it presents itself, we have to, I mean, I think it's in our best interest to say, do I want to continue to be loyal to something or someone who is not in my best interest, or who doesn't see me for who I am? And it's important that we see ourselves in our true light. And again, I think that's why I wanted to help people with learning how to love themselves, so that when it comes time and we're faced with, if somebody's not loyal to us, or we feel that they're not in our best interest, you know, take the example on the global scale of like Disney. Are we going to continue to watch Disney after knowing what we know? Are you going to continue to be loyal to a husband or a wife who you know has been disloyal to you, or has broken your trust, or who has demonstrated that they don't honor who you are? Again, that's an individual choice to go, am I going to continue to follow or be loyal to these things or these people that we're seeing that are presenting in a different light? Because again, the year of 2020, there's something very big, there's something very energetic, there's something very biblical and miraculous happening, whether anybody can really see it or feel it yet. Many of us that are very sensitive and we do meditate and we do turn it inward, we can sense it. We absolutely, the whole community is growing. The whole awakening community is growing in recognizing that what was being presented to us is not at all what is real. And there is, on a global scale, there's repercussions coming. There's consequences. This is a karmic thing that's playing out on a global scale. So on an individual scale, it's up to each of us, because if we choose to not put ourselves first and we continue to be loyal to something that is not in our best interest, we are going to be controlled by that. So for example, if you don't put yourself first and want to take control and give it to somebody else, you are going to end up with a vaccine in your body. And you have to trust that that vaccine doesn't have what many people are saying are not good things. But again, that's again, I think, just an example of each of us have to be able to make our own decisions. So anyway, thank you to anybody who's, following along, who's going through any kind of challenges, because I think we all are. I think if we're paying attention to what's happening around the world, we are finding out on a global scale that those things that we were once loyal to are not good. And I think we're all going to get to that point where we have to face something along this path, along this journey right now, something that we have to recognize is we've been deceived, or we're being deceived. And what I'm finding, and again, a large community is finding, is that the answers are not outside of ourselves. Because if we're confused, we're being deluged with misinformation right now. I assure you, you try to look for an answer and you're going to get all kinds of confusing shit. It just is. And then you even find family members who are split. This person thinks this and this person thinks that. And it's like, holy shit, where do we look for answers? Well, I've said it, it's right here. It's inside of ourselves. We truly, because our hearts honestly are where we live, where love is, where God is. And I'm here to tell you, and I'm here to attest to the love that is found in there, and the changes that take place when we start to turn into ourselves, because we're not alone. But we have to start trusting. I mean, it's a process. And like I said, many of us are going through it all. I think we're all going to go through it if we decide to. We can keep struggling and keep facing that resistance, but eventually it's kind of like we got to give way to seeing that things are changing very, very rapidly, and we're picking our destiny. So I choose the light, man. I choose going toward what resonates in our heart, because that is for everybody. That is a service to others path. What's good for me is good for everybody. When I take care of myself, I take care of others. That's the path I choose. The other path is the one we've always been on, the service to self. That was an experience, man. That's an experience that we sign up for. And as soon as we realize that, we understand the lesson. We start to understand that everything's a lesson. Everything. It's a game. It's like, it really is. But right now we're in it. And I think our loyalties are being tested. So, I mean, I send out love to each and every one of you. If you have any questions, you can leave them in the comments. You can go to my website. I'm on Instagram at Upgrade in Progress 5D. So I'm sending out love. I'm sending out love for each and every one of us, because I promise you, we are all in this together. Separation is an illusion. It is an illusion that we all bought for many, many years, but it's simply not true. We are all in this together, and we are all one. I love you guys very much. I wish you well. And it ain't easy, but we're going to get through. And I promise you, turn in, and there's so much in there. So much. It's the universe in there. It really is. Sending love, you guys. Be well. Bye.